I'm Hilary, a mom in Oklahoma, and I am ready to be in the Christmas spirit.
And I'm Hannah, a stay-at-home mom in Texas, and I am avoiding the stomach bug.
This is episode 61 of the Don't Use to Read podcast. What?
Yeah, it's already gotten two people. I felt low-key like I was next, but so far I'm okay. Well, that's all. That's the story.
Okay, guys, today we have something really special and exciting. We have our good friend Tracy Baack back with us, and we're so excited because she's here to talk about her new book, Joy to Noel, which is out now, I think by the time this episode airs. And yeah, we're so excited. I feel like a lot of you know her and love her already who listen, but if you don't know her, you're about to. So yeah, we're excited. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
We did your intro before we came on.
Okay, good. What did you say? Our crazy friend Tracy, whose life is in shambles.
All good things. All good things.
Oh, I'm exaggerating. Things are looking up. We'll be fine.
Like, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So, Tracy, can you tell us what your new book is about? Like, first of all, when does it come out? It comes out soon. And what is it about, or what are the vibes of the book? Because I know you had posted that you made like a summary, but you didn't share it on Instagram. So it's up to you.
Yes, so Joy to Noel, by the time this podcast airs, will be live because it goes live for us tomorrow, November 5th. So it is my second Christmas book. And yes, Hillary, you're correct. I there is a blurb. You have to have a blurb for, the back of the book and Amazon and all of those places. But I always like maintaining an air of mystery about my books, even though they're not mysteries, they're just romances. But with this one in particular, I felt like of any of my books to go into based off of just the vibes and not actually knowing anything about the plot, that this was a good one to do that. So it is Christmas, but like Saved by Noel, it takes place over the course of a year. So it's another year-long timeline with like threads of Christmas woven throughout. And it's about Madison, who was a character in Saved by Noel. She was Clara's best friend in that book. And so this is her journey to find her happily ever after. Um, and it's just it's back in the same small town. We see a lot of the same cast of characters from the first book. So that was really fun to revisit and bring their characters back and kind of highlight some of the different characters a little bit more in this one and just see how they interacted with each other. So it was very fun. So it's Christmassy, but it's like a year-long timeline. So it's not all Christmassy, if that makes sense. And it's a very sassy book. Like Saved by Noel was very sweet and cozy Christmas, and this is like sassy fire Christmas. So, but still closed door. It's still closed door romance.
I feel like I've already gotten a lot of people messaging me about this book because probably
Oh,
because I've already said that like people know I liked it. But yes, I've gotten a lot of DMs about Hamlet, about
yes.
Liam, and then someone today was telling me the Pops scene, which I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
Hillary's gotten there yet, but whenever Liam meets Pops, they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's just the best part." And it's been fun. It's been fun. Like, I'm not even the author, and I'm like, yes, tell me all the things. I love it. And so I also was thinking last time you were on the podcast, Hillary said, because you had not intended, you were like, no, I think that's just it. Saved by
Yep,
Noel is just, standalone. And Hillary was like, but you could. What about Madison?
it's true.
And so, what made you decide to write book two? What made you add on?
Yes. Well, you're absolutely correct. A year ago, when I was on your podcast for the first time, this was a point of discussion of would there ever be a sequel to Saved by Noel set in the same world? And I remember telling you all, I think I even went back and listened to it. I remember saying I would love to write in this world again because I loved it so much. And I had so many readers after Saved by Noel message me and say, can we get a book for Madison? And when I wrote Saved by Noel, that was not, I really and truly, that was not my intention. Like when I wrote Home Safe, I decided pretty quickly that I was going to write a book for Sam as I was writing that one. But with Saved by Noel, really and truly, I published it not intending to write another book. But so many people asked for a book for Madison. And I remember telling you all last year, I would love to do it, but I wouldn't want to force it. Like I would truly want an idea for her story to come and make sense and be something I got excited about and not just something I forced just because people asked for it. And lo and behold, the perfect story came to mind for Madison. And I'm so happy that people asked for this because I had the most fun writing this book out of any of my books. Like Mads and Liam were the most fun couple interactions to write. So I am thrilled that people asked for this and that we talked about it last year. And now here we are, and it's here.
And so when you were making this book, because I'm thinking back to Love and Other Chances, you had Mateo,
Mm-hmm.
and Mateo was Hispanic. He was what Latino. He was from
Guatemalan. Mm-hmm.
okay,
From
yes.
Guatemala.
And then with this one, Liam, he is Korean. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
half Korean.
yes. So what inspires you? I've heard you talk about Mateo and like the culture there and why you wrote that. What inspired you with Liam and with his background? Was that just random? Like what how is this it's important or special to you? Does that make sense? I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yes, that makes sense. Um, I think with Liam's character, just as I was trying to decide, who Madison's, because obviously I already had Madison's character, like the tidbits that I had written for myself already in Saved by Noel, I had to carry into her character this time. So I already had some background for her. But obviously Liam was a blank slate since he was not introduced in Saved by Noel at all. And so as I was thinking through his character, I enjoy writing different cultural representations to varying degrees in my books because I feel like, white Western European culture, that's not American culture. Like America is such a like conglomeration of so many different amazing cultures. And so I like representing that to the degree that I feel like I honestly can because I am a white woman of German background. But so I like including that. I have a very good friend from my church who is Korean. And so I was just thinking, like, oh, it'd be fun to have him be, half Korean. And so I was like, hey, I just want to pick your brain a little bit about Korean culture and get some like authenticity, to what I'm writing. And so I just asked her a bunch of questions, and she just gave me so much amazing information about her upbringing and what Korean culture, like extended family dynamics are like. And of course, no culture is a monolith. Like no one person's experience of a culture is representative of that entire country or that entire culture. But so just in talking with my friend, I just was so fascinated by all of the things that she shared. So I wound up making it a little bit bigger part of his story because I just was so fascinated by everything that she shared. And it made it really fun to just kind of weave some of these threads into small things that he does, like making sure that people take their shoes off coming into the house, and then into bigger things about how his family dynamics played into his upbringing with, his dad having Korean culture and his mom having Western American culture. Um, so it kind of began as a small idea of wanting to have more culture represented, and then it spiraled once I got all this amazing firsthand information from my friend. So that's how that came to
Um,
be.
yeah, I like that. I'm a quarter of the way through the book right now, but I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the podcast. My husband is part Asian. And so my daughter is now obviously too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like you said, it's just representative of what like being American is now. And so
Mm-hmm.
like Noelle knows that she is Japanese, but she says she's all Japanese. She's actually an eighth Japanese, but she's like Japanese and white and Hispanic and like so many things. We're like, well, our kids are just gonna be everything, just.
That's
But I
right.
think that's very indicative of what we are now.
Yeah. I agree.
And while we're talking about Liam and his family, um, his sister, I'm like, I have his sister. How do you say her name?
Okay, well, so her name's Hannah. But in the book, you find out that Liam and Hannah have names that would be easy to pronounce in both English and in Korean.
Hmm.
So an American
Oh, like
English
Hana.
speaker,
Yeah.
yeah, an American English speaker would look at her name and say Hannah, but like a Korean speaker would say Hana.
You know, in Spanish, well, I don't know. I don't know Spanish, but whenever we visit my family that speaks Spanish, that's how they say my name, a lot of them.
Really? That's
Yes.
fun.
So I
But you
was,
have a sort of name twin, but not
and
exactly.
and so should we expect to see a story?
The, Hana. Okay, never say never. I was on your podcast last year and was like, oh, Saved by
I
Noel is
know.
a standalone. And here we are with the
We can
sequel.
just we're
So,
just manifesting it again.
My other I was like gonna say, my other idea is a marriage in crisis. That's my other
oh,
submission.
I'm starting to think that they're everyone's so happy right now. I'd hate to throw them into crisis. I I wrote a bonus epilogue of Joy to Noel, and I'll just say I gave myself the option to
Mm,
write a story for Hannah someday if I if the idea again
comes, yeah.
percolates like it did with
Okay.
Madison.
I mean, I'll
The
take it.
option is there, but I make no guarantees
That's fine. I had to ask for the people.
for the people. Hannah is always out here doing the Lord's work for the people.
Okay, so on the topic of like picking your characters and stuff like that, I know Hannah and I have spoken about this, and she has told me a little bit like that she has just basically said you really work really hard to flesh out your characters, like
Mhm.
their personalities, their like even up to their enneagrams, matching the couples with a personality type and what that looks like. So, can you talk about that? Like, whenever you're creating your characters, what is that process like? Like, do you come up with your plot first and then add your characters in, or do you come up with your characters and flesh them out? And then, like, what does that look like? How does that go?
Mm. That's a good question. It's not always the same um, for each book. Of the books that have like Saved by Noel, I would say the basic plot came to me first, and then I picked the characters and like how they would fit into that plot and what their personalities would be like. But then there's been other times where it has been more character driven. And this was for sure that Joy to Noel is probably the most character driven book. I keep saying these really absolute statements. But it was definitely very character driven. And again, like I started with Madison because I already had seeds of her character that I had written into Saved by Noel, not realizing that I was going to write her book someday. So I had to start with what I had already written for her and then more round out like, okay, so here were these snippets that we saw, but what was like underlying those manifestations of her personality? Um, so with Madison, I decided that and then based Liam's character off of, okay, well, what would fit Madison well? Like, what would both help her to grow and also love her for who she is? And so I developed Liam's character kind of around that. Um, so yeah, so the Enneagram is by far my biggest character development tool that I use. I have a couple of different books and a bunch of different websites that I look at. But the reason I like the Enneagram is that it is personality, but it's deeper than personality because the same Enneagram number can have a different like outward facing personality. But
Hmm.
the it really dives more deeply into like what's your motivation? Like what is motivating your character? What's driving your decision making? What's causing you to react to certain situations, certain ways, which that to me is how you make a character feel real. Like not just, oh, they're a bubbly personality, but like, okay, but what's like motivating the way that they act? Um, so with Madison, I decided, was an Enneagram 1. Um, and just a very um, blunt, honest, black and white, right and wrong way to do things type of personality. Um, I'm laughing because Hannah's laughing. You can't see it because there's no video. Okay. But so with Madison being that, and like in Saved by Noel,
Because Hannah is an
because Hannah's
Enneagram
the
one.
one. Hannah's an Enneagram 1. It's true. So yes, Hannah and Madison have some similarities, but not exactly the same. Because again, everyone can manifest their, personality a little differently. Um, so she is a 1, and like in Saved by Noel, I had written her as a very direct character, kind of saying what she thinks, really honestly, which Clara really needed in her life and her journey. She needed someone that would tell her the truth about, um, pushing her to kind of achieve her dreams and stuff like that. So Madison
Remind
was
me what Clara was.
Clara was an Enneagram 2, so she was very focused on
Okay.
helping other people. So she kind of needed Madison
Okay.
and then Clark too, but to kind of push her and like say the honest things of like, hey, stop just helping other people and actually pursue what you want. Um, so with Madison being that way, I immediately knew I wanted to write Liam as an Enneagram 8, which ironically is what my Enneagram is. And so, um, but I knew that I wanted Madison to have someone who could handle her sassiness, um, but also be honest with her. Like I wanted her to have someone that like stepped up to the plate really with her, in both a challenging way, but also an accepting way, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I wrote Liam's character, which it was funny. I remember telling Hannah at one point that I was having fun writing Liam's character because I kept thinking like, if I was a man and I was a corporate business guy and I didn't have Jesus like rounding out my natural tendencies, what would I say? How would I act? And then I just wrote that. So there you go.
Yeah. So you are Liam.
Yeah, yeah, basically. A version of me is Liam.
But it works so well. I like how like she is very direct, but like he is too. And
Yeah.
then like on top of that, if she feels like he's being a jerk, she's just like, "You're being a jerk."
Right.
And then he's like, "Yeah, I kind of am."
Yep.
It's not like a lot of miscommunication because I feel like they're both very much,
Straight shooters.
yeah, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
like what they appreciate in the other person too. So I
Hmm.
feel like
Hmm.
it does work very well.
Yes. And Liam needed like he needs Madison's directness and willingness to like say it like it is also to like help round out his character flaws and whatnot. So they were a really, and it also I have said before on my Instagram page, that I know like romance readers always say that they love banter. Like you always see that in reviews of like, oh, it's such great banter. People always say that about like Emily Henry and stuff like that, that she writes such great banter. And so I understand that everyone loves banter, but in my mind, I'm like, sometimes the character's not bantery. Like, when I have written some of my past characters, I'm like, this person, that's not their personality. They wouldn't banter like this, but you feel this pressure to like
Yeah.
write banter because it's what everyone wants. But Madison and Liam were the perfect couple to write good banter for because it felt very true to their personalities and their characters, and I was like, oh, this is so fun. So I had a lot of fun, writing their verbal sparring exchanges because it was fun and it felt true to their characters. So, but now I'm like sharp pivoting because now I'm writing Amaya's book, and she's really different, and she needed someone different. Like her enneagram's really different. The person I'm matching her with is really different. So now my brain is like struggling to like switch into
Which, while you're
different.
talking about her,
Yeah.
tell Hilary, because Tracy has told me some of the behind the scenes. Tell Hilary about how you have like a Maya's personality, and then how you had several different like files or whatever, how you were thinking, okay, well, maybe I should give her this personality. And then you were like, no, 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 that won't work. So tell Hilary about that and like what goes through your mind whenever you're creating characters and
Yeah.
matching them up and that sort of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, first let me preface, there's no two Enneagram numbers that are not compatible together. Like every Enneagram
Which we
expert
were
will tell
just
you.
talking about this. We were
Yeah,
before the podcast because Hillary, we
you
were
were.
just talking about this because we were talking about Taylor's Enneagram, and
Hmm.
she was like, I don't think he'd ever be with I don't know what type. And I said, I'm like, well,
Clara.
yeah. And I said, well, I don't think that there's like a straight, like this type one is only going to be with, type seven, eight, and
Hmm.
nine, or whatever. I'm like, I feel like it would literally be every combination. And I was
Yeah.
telling her about the thing that you are about to talk about.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you can continue.
Yeah, I mean there are definitely in the research that I've done, there are more common pairings that you will see where like, certain numbers no, blah, numbers will gravitate towards, each other or whatnot. Or some pairings that like maybe have a little bit less natural conflict. But any number can be with any number and like there's pros and cons, and different ways that like an Enneagram 1 might draw out, an Enneagram 5 differently than an Enneagram 7 would. I don't know. So there's different, I don't know, pros and cons probably isn't even quite the right term, but I don't know. Different challenges and different easy things, I guess, in the
Weaknesses.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. All that to say, it's not like any two numbers have to be together or can't be together. Um, but so with Amaya or with a character, even like Madison, like anytime I'm starting with one character that I already have more fleshed out, which is the case here because Amaya has been in two books before. So I have some seeds of her character that I've planted in the other books. So I have to start with her character and who she is. And I know her character growth arc that I want her to experience, like where she's going to start the book, where I want her to be at the end of the book. And so then I kind of think through, okay, if this is where she is, this is where she wants to go. And this is like her specific personality, like because Amaya's an Enneagram 3. Griffin in Home Safe was also an Enneagram 3. And so they have some similarities, but they also have some differences in the way that they approach things. So I was thinking for Amaya specifically, the way that her personality is and the way that she needs to grow as a person, who could help her do that? Like what type of person, what type of Enneagram motivation and value and whatnot could complement her as well as like push her forward. So I was there was one day that I sent Hannah, I don't know, 200 messages probably back and forth and all of these like screenshots of like this, a number 3 with a number like all these different numbers and I'm like, okay, well, her main male character could be this number because this aspect would draw out this of her that I want her to grow in. But then I was like, but no, that would be terrible because she needs to grow in this way or whatever. So it was a whole day of me basically talking to myself, and Hannah was my sounding board of trying to decide who does she actually need to be with to get her where she needs to go. So I have
Hmm.
finally landed on it, but I was all over the place for a little bit. So it was an adventure.
Yeah, because Hannah and I were having this discussion where, okay, in my mind, I don't remember. That's why I had to ask what Clara
Hmm.
was. But I know there are certain personalities that my husband is very what am I trying to say? Unattracted to. Like they're consistently. And so, but I agree with you. There are immature and mature versions of every type as well though.
Yes.
And like you're saying, there's a spectrum of stuff too. Like you could have an extremely mature 7 or an extremely immature 7, and they're going to
Hmm.
present themselves totally differently. I know me at my unhealthy level, no one wants to be with me, at my unhealthy stage. But I know I am naturally attracted to, like, I know not attracted to, never have been attracted to guys that are like very, very outgoing. It's very consistently like people that are like, why do you like him? He's so rude. Like, that has consistently been my type of person. But because I told Hannah's like, no, any type can be with any type. And I was like, I don't know. I'm consistently drawn to the same type of personality in my friends, in the guys I've dated and married. It's just interesting to think about.
I feel like it was my parents and I myself, I thought I would always end up with somebody very like probably now in hindsight like myself. I pictured I was going to be with someone very serious, very quiet,
Mm-hmm.
and very introverted and gruff. And then I'm like,
Yeah,
that was
like you.
100%. Yeah. Well, and it makes sense because I'm just thinking, I'm like, well, that then how would I grow? And I guess, like, to your point, that is, sometimes maybe we are drawn to different types because I don't know if it's because, but I think it helps us grow because, yes, like you see the
Mm-hmm.
world completely differently. And I don't know. I mean, I guess people say opposites attract, and I'm like, sometimes I think, yeah, I think that is just literally what happens.
Sometimes they do,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes similar people attract.
Like, yeah, like Tegan and Brooks.
That's right. That's right. Or Liam and Madison. They are very, not exactly the same, but very parallel in their personality. So,
And I feel like Taylor and I are like I'm a 4 and
mhm.
Taylor's a 5. Yeah. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
was gonna say we are very we present ourselves very similarly externally because we're both quiet, we're both standoffish very much
Yeah.
whenever people meet us. But and people always think when they meet me, they're like, she's so rude, she's so mean. But when people, it's funny, like at work, they're like, no, it's funny because Hillary's like actually the nicest one out of all of us. She's just quiet. And Taylor is probably ruder than you would think on the inside. So, but I love it. Taylor's just very, very blunt and he's just like no nonsense. And I will present myself that way, but then I'll go home and be like, oh, but I feel so bad about it. And he's like, don't feel bad. That was the right thing to do. So, but it's funny. Like, I feel like he and Hannah can be similar in that way too.
Hmm.
So, like you said, their motivations are different, but I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I think they can present themselves all very similarly as like the
Hmm.
black sheep of the group.
Well, and that's like, what I said earlier that, two people with the same Enneagram number may, act different personality wise or may be, attracted to a different, you know, um, life partner or whatnot. And that's what I think is really interesting about it. And then you throw in that like you have your two wings on either side that like some people lean more heavily into their
Uh-huh.
wings at different, so there's so much variation, which for me
Hmm.
as an author just makes it really fun in writing characters because I feel like, I can write two characters with the same Enneagram number, but they can still look
Yeah,
really.
which you did. Um, Lana
Yeah.
and Liam are the same, right?
Yes. Yeah.
See,
Lana was also an eight.
I could just take a quiz at this point. I
You
feel like
can. Hannah knows them all.
yeah, but Lana is a type.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. Men and women also present that differently too, right?
They
Like
can. Yeah.
men that I've met men that are like Enneagram 4s and they're not as like weepy as I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
Typically.
there's so many different variables and
Hmm.
factors, but yes. Yeah.
My point and what you're saying too is like they can look different.
Hmm.
They can still have, like the bones, but like you still
Mhm.
have so much room to flesh out their character, which is nice because I think sometimes books can feel very flat for me, where it's like a
Mm-hmm.
character. We've talked about this before, like I feel like all the time, where it's like the bubbly person is just bubbly all the time, or the
Hmm.
grumpy person is just grumpy all the time. They don't feel like a real person, or it's just hard to understand them because you can't really figure out who they are because they're just that one little personality type, which none of
Hmm.
us that's just not realistic for anybody. I think it makes the characters feel more like there's more depth, and I think it makes it just feel more real, at least to me. That's why I enjoy your books because you do see the drawbacks of the personality types or just, like
Hmm.
they're real people, so I feel they feel like a real person. But you also like they just feel like a real person in the good and also the things that they struggle with and like the
Hmm.
areas that they're still growing. So I think it's just a compliment to you.
Oh,
I think
thanks.
you do it really well.
Thanks. I mean, to me it makes it more fun to write because then I mean, in a like challenging way of like, okay, I want these to feel like real people and feel developed. And so not just so like Tegan, for example, and she's in first introduced Love and Other Goals, and then her book is Love and Other Chances. Like she is the bubbly character, who's always like high energy and positive and whatnot. But her whole book is like, delving into, well, she's not just the bubbly character because she wants people to like her or whatever. It's, she wants to enjoy life and she wants other people to enjoy life. Like this, she's an Enneagram 7. So just classic Enneagram 7 behavior of wanting to make life fun for people and wanting to avoid pain. Like that's her bit. That's, Enneagram 7's big thing is they want to not deal with pain.
For sure.
And so for her, that's what made me choose to give her a second chance romance, because I was like, what better way to force Tegan to grow than to have to relive the worst pain in her life? So there she goes. So, yeah, so it's really fun. But yeah, Liam and Madison was a super fun combination to write. And it was funny because I kept texting Hannah. I was like, this is like our dynamic in a nutshell.
I know. I think that's
really
why
funny.
it works. It works. I'm like, it's the same. It's very similar where I feel like me and you are like that. We're like, tell me I'm stupid. It's fine. And it's like we're not even gonna be mad. We're like, yeah, you're being a little petty. It's fine. And then we just understand. It's
Right.
What did Hannah text me today? Am I just like the worst person ever in the whole world? Something like that. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, you are moody.
which to me is still a win because I was like, she didn't say yes, you're the worst person.
I mean, you are moody, but
Like, are you the worst?
the worst?
No.
It's fine.
Oh, we've gone off the rails. I took us off the rails.
Okay, so you do come up for sure with an Enneagram for every character, though. Like, is that like you do that all the time? Okay.
Yeah.
I told Hannah I was scared. I was like, can she not do well, okay, yeah, like a main one. I was like, can she not do a 4? Because I don't even know if I could, it would just be too painful.
I have not yet tried to tackle a 4. I feel like
Yeah, it's a
4s are
mess.
probably the Enneagram I understand the least, which is probably exactly what an
same.
Enneagram 4 would want to be.
Hilary.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't
I'm
either.
too unique to be understood. So, well, now you've planted the seed in my mind, Hilary. I guess I'm gonna have to do my research on a
Yeah,
4.
I don't think I'm unique. I don't think I'm unique. Everyone always says that, like unique. And I'm like, I don't think I'm unique. I think I'm like weird and broken. So I'm like, when people say unique, I'm like, no, that's not it. It's
You're like,
like
don't be nice.
something's screwed up.
Just say I'm weird.
Yeah, I was like, something's messed up. Yeah. Yeah. I've asked my therapist, I'm like, do you think I'm mentally ill? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay. So I think that's whenever people are like, it's unique. I'm like, no. I'm like, we actually think it's something else. Enneagram 4s do. It's just like the nice word for it, I think. Anyway, are you working on the next book to home safe?
So I am working on Amaya's book now, which will be the final book in my Love and Other series. So Love and Other Goals was my debut novel, and had a set of 3 best friends.
Okay.
So Love and Other Chances was the second one with Tegan. So Amaya is the final one of that trio to get her happily ever after that people have been asking for a long time. So I'm doing it. Life has been just extra special lately. And so my creative brain has been basically non-existent. So I'm not as far into drafting her story as I wish I was at this point, but I'm crossing my fingers that the rest of November will maybe behave a little better and I can actually get better progress done. But so Maya's book is next, and then after her book will be Sam from Home Safe. So that's my next 2 books planned. Which I very rarely actually tell that much ahead of time.
That's
So,
nice. You're like booked out. Yeah.
I know. Telling all the secrets. They're not secrets anymore.
And then after that, it'll be time for Hannah.
There you
Christmas.
go.
In July, Christmas
Time
in
for more
July
Christmas.
again.
2020, like 2027.
Christmas 2026, 2027. We'll see.
Oh, I was gonna say 7. I'm like, that's a lot for 1 year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's possible. I did 3 this year. Let me think. Yeah, 11 Other Chances and then Home Safe and Joy to Know was 2025. So,
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. No wonder,
if
no wonder
Amaya's
you
book
need
will
a break.
start cooperating.
Yeah, you need a vacation.
There we
A trip. A trip.
go.
For inspiration for
There you
Amaya.
go. Yes, seriously. Where do I need to send Amaya on a trip so I can go there for research?
All right, let's close out. Where can we find you, Hilary?
Okay, you can find me at Hilary Reads,
And I'm at Hannah Reads.
and our podcast is at Don't You To Read Podcast, all on Instagram. We really appreciate you guys liking and sharing our episodes. It means a lot to us.
Okay, Tracy, where can people follow you and find you and follow your next projects that are coming up?
So I am most active on Instagram at author Tracy Baack. I have not dove into TikTok. I probably won't. I think I'm too old. So come find me on Instagram, and that's where I hang out. I do have a website, tracybaack.com, that has info about my books. But if you want more of the like updates and fun things and whatnot, all of that gets posted on Instagram.
Yes, go find Tracy's books, go buy them, go comment, tell her hi, and thank you so much for coming.
Yay! Thanks for having me. This was so fun. It was very full circle for this book to be back talking about it after last year's podcast.
I know it was. We'll have you
Yep.
again next year.
There you go. Next year, Hannah's book.
Okay. Bye.